Hi guys, my name is Oleg and I'm art director in Big Medium Small, and I would like to show you our key features in the upcoming Medieval Collection update. First of all, I want to say that this update will be free for all of the existing owners of this park. When it will be released, you will see it in the Gumroad folder. So just go in there, check, and this update will be waiting for you. One of the most requested features of this collection was rigged characters, and another one was textured buildings. Because it was our first park, and it was our initiative not to include UV buildings, so we wanted to have control over the scale of the textures. What you had to do, you had to apply all the textures using box or triplanar projections in different softwares, and all of the textures were sorted by big, medium, small scale, which basically meant that on large buildings you would use bigger textures and on smaller one you would use smaller. However, this turned out not to be so convenient to some customers, so we unwrapped all buildings, we fixed geometry and textured. We created complex shader that utilizes quality of the textures. Right now it works in Blender and Unreal, but we have plans to include native files for Cinema, for Maya and for Max as well. Also, if you are not up to the complex shaders and you don't need all of these controls, we also included baked textures, the most common PBR shading, so you would have only 4 or 5 textures applied to buildings and that's it. So yeah, ready to drag and drop in different softwares. This update will include more than 200 elements. There are 3 standing rigs for 3 type of characters. There are 1 horse that was modified from a Wild West park, and we created different saddle. We did some modifications to the colors of hair. Also, we have prepared a lot of new poses for those riders and knights, and those assets that you can see, they are baked and can be just drag and dropped for your concepts or illustrations if you want. But if you want, obviously you can have rig and pose whatever you want, pose of this character, and do anything with the, or even you can do animations. What I want to start is to show you asset library in Blender, which in my opinion is one of the most exciting feature in Blender 3.0. It basically becomes similar to Unreal in some cases, so you can just drop your assets into the scene and it works. Okay, let me show you the assets that you're gonna see, those files you will have. For a Blender asset library, you would have to use this file. Inside you will see Blender files that you will need to copy in a particular folder. There is I guess it's file path, asset library. You have to set up this folder and then copy all of assets which have AL indication in the our naming to this folder. You can see asset library and asset library. And when you restart Blender, you probably would have current file, and then you switch to user library, and voila, you have all our medieval assets over here. So you can change scale of the thumbnails. I'm gonna go through what we have over here and show you. So this would be buildings. We have different categories like buildings, towers, walls. For characters, we split it into posed characters and rigged characters. In posed we have peasants, riders, and standing characters, basically on foot. Also we have poses. Keep in mind that those are just poses. They are not animations, but you can do some cool things with that. I will show you. And we have materials and 3D splashes over here. So how it works, I guess most of you already know, but that tool is amazing, that new update. So we create plane, make it a little bit bigger, apply transform. Let's do material preview right away and change camera angle view. So I want to drop some of the buildings, and you just drag and drop it into this scene. Oh, it's huge. Okay, I will need to make it bigger. Okay, it works. And yeah, that's the building. You just drag and drop it, and you can make infinite amount of copies of this. You can see. So yeah, let's just start them just for the simple scene. And then yeah, probably some towers. Yeah, this one cool. All of the materials already inside your asset library, so all the textures already applied, correct scale. Same would go with characters. Give it a time, because textures need to be uploaded into the memory, and it's not instant. In some cases it takes some time. I guess it would be faster if you have SSD. We just add in those into the scene. If you want someone opposing to riders, rotate. Yeah, it's great. Sometimes you will need to drop characters a little bit lower, because when you import assets into the asset library, Blender recognizes the bottom part of the shape and makes it lowest part, and not just the pivot point. So if some of the mesh is going below the ground, you need to it imports like floating, but you need to just change the position of it. Okay, yeah, that's good. And what we can do also, so we have plane, we choose material, we choose our mod material. Oh, you need to apply transform, of course. Yeah, and some of the splashes just dropping below. Yeah, you see it imports it higher than it needed, but we just drop it down, some corrections, and it looks perfect. So you can see why this feature is so great. It just creates some concepts in a matter of seconds, or just if you have an idea, it's very easy to do. You don't need to spend much time on importing assets and copying them from one Blender file to another. It's just here, right in front of you. We have also added rigged characters, but due to limitations of this current version of asset library, you copy import instance of the collection, and when you import you just need to delete a copy of this rig. So there is a duplicate and you need to delete it. Once it's done, you have your rigged characters with textures and stuff. Okay, let me create a new file and show you our rigged characters. So yeah, this character, yeah, it takes some time to just process. Yeah, you see the duplicate, you just need to delete this instance. Don't worry about it. So why we have a lot of helmets over here, we have flags and sword in hand. It basically helps you to modify different poses, and then you just turn off what you don't need in hands. For example, we have fighting pose mode. Select all the bones and pick the pose that you want. Yeah, you see we have, obviously we don't need flag over here, so we just hide it, and that's it. Same goes for the helmet. If you want to have different helmets on riders, just to increase variation and realism of the scene, just need to turn off the ones that you don't want to see, and yeah, you're done. If you don't need shield, same goes here. I think I would go with the rush pose, something like this. Or we can go with the flag, right? Turn off sword in the hand and flag. For horse, I think, as I told before, we created a new saddle for this horse. I think it looks beautiful. And we have some color combinations for that. I'm going to shader and just swap those. Yeah, textures are not shown. That's the add-on. Don't worry about it. You will not see. If you want, you just need to install add-on for those previews. But for now, they're gonna be purple. And yeah, red one, white one, and black one. Same goes for skin material. Dark brown, black, and yeah, if you want something sophisticated, just change the color of the hair of the horse. Nice. And of course we want to change the pose. Yeah, you can see that those rigs are not matched. We did matching into the post characters. I can try to import something similar to this. Yeah, something like that. And just show you how it's done. We spend a lot of time fixing all of the matching between meshes in the post one. Over here, you see correctly covers the back of the horse. Also, a knight holding the, I don't know how it's called, that controls the horse. Right, so here it's not presented, so I'm hiding this horse. But if you want, you can obviously change it, and if you're gonna have your poses, you can do it and change leg position if you want. You can move leg forward, you can move it backward. Also, if it's not matching, just pick different bones and adjust it. So we're done with simple posing. There is a cool trick if you want to adjust it before. Yeah, you see, basically fabric is not matching to this saddle cloth. So we're going into sculpting mode. I'm gonna show you. Pick the grab brush, increase the size, and just move it where you want. Yeah, it takes time, but if you want something very precise, you can do it. Alright, that's the rider rig. Another one we have is standing rig. It's gonna be here, over here. Again, delete and duplicate, and here's our rig. I think I'm gonna leave this helmet. It's the coolest one. in my opinion. You would ask why this clock in this position, because it would be simpler to apply physics to it. If you're masking some of the parts and to the lowest part you have applied physics for your animations, that would be simpler to do. But if you want just poses and then modify them, I just pick one, and yeah, we have already created them, so they would look natural. And you can hide sword if you want, you can hide helmet, but let me show you one of the coolest features. I just go to the poses, pick correct folder for so it's standing rig. From here I will hide bones and make it make this preview. So you can pick poses with the old way of doing it from the pose library over here, but with the new asset library you can choose a new way of doing it. And yeah, the rig should be you need to be in the pose mode, and with all of the bones selected, just take those, right? Okay, that looks good. But look what we can do. We can pick with control those two poses that we would like, select interactive blend, and just move the mouse in different sides. And what we have simple animations that we can actually keyframe and record. For example, I want this pose and this interactive blend. I think it's so cool. Yeah, EV taking performance hit when we apply it. Yeah, let's try it. Oh, also I forgot to mention we have T pose and we have A pose for anyone who wants this. Yeah, let's do some fighting animation. For example, this, and I don't know, maybe this. And not very good, but yeah, just try and do different poses and then blend. And you can leave character in the middle and just keyframe, or create new pose from current file, from this pose. So you have infinite amount of different variations. Yeah, let's do the coolest one. So horse, selecting all the bones, hide preview just for you, and go into poses, picking rider, no, it should be horse, and applying pose, right? And then another one, and interactive blend. It's almost working, almost. Okay, let me change to this, and we have running. That's so cool. If you are not going to show a bottom part of the horse, you can imagine that it's running very fast. Oops, something not working. Right, you see? That's the most exciting feature in Blender that we support right now. I think we're gonna adapt all of our existing packs in future for that feature. One more thing, if you want to have animations, we all know that the easiest way would be to use Mixama, and we prepared FBX files for Mixama as well as we did in our previous packs. So go in there. You can use either A-pose or T-pose files. It actually doesn't matter. The problem with okay, I will show you. It's not actually a problem. So yeah, let's do T-pose. I think it's gonna work. Just upload character, select file, and let's use T-pose. The good thing that You don't need to indicate all of the limbs, and Mixama recognizes the rig and do it automatically without your input. And we have our character. Next, sword or something, or maybe fight type in there, and you see some of the animations that we can use. Let's do this one. Obviously, you can see that the cloak is not animating because it's a static mesh. And what we can do, we can import this animation and character in Blender and then apply some of the physics to that fabric, and that would look cool. Importing building, maybe smaller one. As I said, we have complex shader with masks in Blender and Unreal, and you can modify your building and modify those textures. You can change the scale. That's the main material setup. If I want to change the scale of tiles, I can use these operators. We can change color of leakage, overall dirt, most well, yeah, lots of things. You just need to play with it, and also those masks are modifiable, and you can change the scale of those damages. Or if you want, you can, I think you can replace the main tile of those and use whatever texture you want. Would it be Megascans or Polygon or something else? And as I said before, there is also a Blender file and FBXs that have a simple PBR material, and we baked all of this complex shader just to one material. I think I'm gonna show you to import this and just FBX, maybe tower. Okay, import. Yep, that's the FBX file. It's baked. Obviously, it loses some quality of the texture because it's baked to 4K and it's not tile. It looks good, and obviously if you want, you can, we will provide all of the masks and textures. If you want, you can build this setup in Cinema or another software if you want. While we're still in Blender, I want to show you cool tricks how to better implement those knights into the scene and to make it look more realistic. Yeah, so we have default material. It's dirty, but it's not suitable for some intense scenes that we, if you would like to create large battle, you need to better, obviously you need to better implement that. And I just used the simple mud material over here with some masks and stuff and multiplies, and just added with a some mixing node, and we can have pretty good looking dirt on the model, and to me it looks believable. And you can copy that node to other parts of materials and other knights, and they would be fighting in mud. So we're in Unreal Engine 5 right now. I opened the file You should go to maps, to all of the content, and then to maps, and open the buildings. Yeah, that's the main overview of all of the building assets over here. You can see the quality of textures. It's very, very good. Also, since it's Unreal Engine 5, we have support of Nanite and Lumen. As you can see, global illumination works as a charm. Lumen scene. That's the Lumen approximation, voxel approximation of meshes, how it creates the global illumination and all of the bounces around the scene. Looks great. And we have Nanite feature. With Nanite, we can no longer think about the poly count in the scene. As long as mesh is static and converted to Nanite, you can do infinite amount of duplicates of meshes into this scene. Go into this site, open the foliage tool, open our meshes with buildings, meshes, pick, for example, this set of buildings, drop it here, increase the brush size, decrease the density, and whoa, I think it's too much. Just paint with this brush. We can do huge city, huge medieval city, or even fantasy one, right? Alright, I'm gonna show you characters. They are also converted to Nanite. Those knights are ready, and there is a problem with Nanite for now. I hope it's gonna be fixed soon with Unreal Engine, that it's not support transparency, so we had to combine so we had to split geometry that has transparency and then combine it into the blueprints. Okay, let's create quick scene and do something fun. Foliage tool, buildings, where is it? Okay, meshes. Let's pick a lot of those assets. Yeah, should be cool. Dropping here and start drawing. Yeah, I think it would be even better if we have some height variation in the landscape. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I think we're done with that. Let's uncheck those. Import our characters. First, we need peasants. Meshes. Let's select all of them. Drop in here. Decrease the brush size and increase the density. Okay. So we can populate this in quickly. Maybe even more. Density. Okay. That looks good to me. Change lighting. Okay. And for example, we can have large bottle going right next to the castle, not to the castle, to the city. Some knights dropping here, and possibly we need the opposite side in this bottle here. So yeah, let's imagine we have two clans, not clans, but different sides of characters fighting between each other. We need less density. Game of Thrones, but inside Unreal Engine. Wow, the scale of it. Check this out, guys. That's amazing. And maybe we can have some of the, okay, we need to exit foliage tool. For now I will go with unlit. Save performance. Yeah, because it's even this scale is a bit too much for my computer. And we would have some riders. Okay, we want rush. Copy, paste, copy, paste. It's like a small squad. And lead. Cinematic view. Wow. Yeah, Unreal Engine 5 is something so beautiful, delighting. It's so realistic when you set up it properly. It's just so good. And all these people are waiting for their destiny. What's gonna happen next? Not only Unreal is capable of doing huge puddles, we can also replicate that method in Blender. It's actually possible with Addon by BD3D. It's called Scatter 5. It's paid add-on, but it's very powerful tool, and I'm no expert with it, to be honest, but I can show you how you can do a huge battlefield with a lot of soldiers. Blender will not crash because it uses instances. We need to choose our emitter, and what great about this add-on that I found out that it's not only using selected objects, but what actually good for us, we can use selected assets from select assets from asset library, and that's amazing. Choose not rigged characters because rigs are very heavy and it might crash the Blender. So we need riders, only static meshes. We select, let's select all of them and let's see what's gonna happen. And then we have our emitter as a plane, and we scatter those selected objects. Okay. Yeah, it seems like nothing happened, right? But it's not. We have our particle systems choosing space to global, and we gently increase the particle density with holding shift. Okay, that looks great, isn't it? So right now they are colliding. There is option with limiting collision. Just increase the size for 1 meter or even more. Increase in density. Yeah, looks good to me. There are also a lot of options, and you can scatter not random, but you can do manual option, different pathways, paint individually by some assets, remove them. Also for buildings, if you want scatter buildings, you can actually limit the rotation by 90 degrees, for example, and do different clusters. Yeah, amount of options in this add-on is amazing. So yeah, let's see what's gonna happen if we render that. Also using add-on physical atmosphere, it helps easily create good looking lighting similar to Unreal. And yeah, let's turn on the rendering. I hope it's not gonna crash. And render. Yeah, just look at this. Yeah, that's amazing. We can change lighting. Yeah, what's great about this add-on, it have a look at this amount of geometry over here, and Blender is not crashing. Obviously it's just a preview, and we need to increase samples on transparency and on some materials, but for preview it's great result, I think. And also we can scatter all of the dirt around the scene. Yeah, I will add link to the description, and if you want, guys, you can use this add-on. Okay, guys, that's the basic overview of our update for this collection. Don't forget, if you own this pack, it's gonna be free for you. Check the update on Gumroad. Also, if you don't want to miss such updates like this, please subscribe on the website to our email list, and you will get all the news and all of the discounts that are gonna be in your future. Download it, create something new, something exciting, share on Instagram, tag us, and we can't wait to see what you create. Have fun, and bye bye.